Hello and welcome back to Spiritually Connected with Tanya Lee. I'm your host, Tanya Lee. Ooh, we have a good guest on today. We have the wonderful and very talented guest, Quin Grace. Quin is a gifted tarot reader and clairvoyant who has been working with different energies since she was given her first tarot deck at the age of 14. She received an awareness of her intuitive gifts after a near-death experience as a child and has been endlessly enthralled by the paranormal and life after death experiences ever since. Ooh, we're going to dive in. She delivers her own style of intuitive tarot readings with a lot of love and a rather quirky sense of humor. She's top-notch, folks. Quin's gift as a conduit is something she's passionate about and feels very grateful to be able to share these passions with others. Please welcome the quintessential tarot queen herself, Miss Grace.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yay, I'm so excited to have you on.
I'm excited to be on. Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. So I usually have a list of questions that I ask people, but you and I were chatting before we hopped on, and I want to know more about you. So you and I love numbers.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Love numbers. And you're a life path 7, which
yes.
I'm a 5. And just for those of you at home that don't know, girl, we get along great. 7 and the 5. So I'm all about the freedom and she's always about the learning, and we can interchange, every which way to Sunday for both of us. So
absolutely.
We get along really well. 7 is also happens to be a very lucky number. So yeah, Quin. Nice.
All right. Thanks.
I love it. I do want to come back a little bit. The name Quin Grace. Girl, were you blessed with this name at birth? Because it's just so elegant. Such a beautiful name.
Thank you very much. It's funny because my older brother says it's my hippie name. I was not born Quin Grace. It is a chosen name, and it is my legal name. Grace is my legal last name, but I was born Carrie Kendra Ferguson. For all the Scottish people out there, represent. Unfortunately, I did not come from a very loving home, and my parents expected me to be a boy. So the name they picked out, Carrie, spelled Kerry, and the middle name should have been Kendrick. When I was born a girl, they didn't really know what to do. My father was very disappointed. So they kept the name. They just turned it into Carrie Kendra. And the name never felt like mine. It never felt like mine. I never felt like it was ever spoken lovingly towards me. So years later, as I started diving more and more into reading tarot and connecting, I really decided, why am I keeping a name that two people that never really showed me love gave me? Why am I this is stupid? In 1987, when I first started reading and when I first opened up to the path of Wicca, actually, I chose a witch name, and the name I chose was Lady Quinlan. So Quin was already who I felt like I was. And kind of at a midlife crisis point in my life, I was staying at a friend's acreage and I went for a walk in the woods and just sat alone in the trees. And I said, I really want to change my name. Spirit, help me out here. If I'm not supposed to be Carrie, if I'm actually supposed to be Quin, I need a sign. There's this massive gust of wind. It shook the trees. Leaves were blowing around everywhere, just massive gust of wind. And then it died down very suddenly and was completely silent. And you know what the woods are like. They're never completely silent. And I took that as a sign from Spirit that, yes, you were supposed to take the name that makes you most comfortable. So I legally changed my name to Quin Autumn Grace.
And it's a beautiful name. It all flows really well. It's just,
so thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. So it was interesting because I've known you for quite a few years now. We've known each other for quite a time, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But I'm like, oh man, how'd she get so lucky to have such an elegant and classy name? And so I asked you just before the show. Now, are you okay with talking about how, what happened when you're 15? Are you okay with that?
Oh, absolutely. Basically, part of the name change and moving in that direction, it came with, I was actually emancipated from my family. So the government of Canada and the government of Alberta, they removed me from my family's care. My high school had complained that there were some signs of possible abuse or neglect. And so I was taken aside, and in school, I was actually speaking to a social worker, and what I didn't know at the time, a psychologist, and they gave me like a 3-hour test that consisted of a personality test, an IQ test, a psych test. Like this took 3 to 3.5 hours to do for them. And at the end of it, they sat me down and they said, you have tested very high in certain areas where we feel that you are able to take care of yourself. So they offered me a choice. You can go into foster care or you can become your own guardian. And I chose to become my own guardian in grade 10.
So I want to come back to that because you're 15 years old. What, like, I mean, at 15 years, I was so worried about boys liking me and who's my next, like, you know, like, and what clothes I'm going to wear and how my hair is going to be. It was the 80s for me. So it's styling. Meanwhile, you're doing this. You're going, okay, I'm just going to live on my own. Okay.
Yep.
I'm, you know, not have that support. Not they have the support, but I'm going to have that. That's amazing.
Thank you. The support wasn't really there to begin with anyway. Like a lot of people will joke about certain things. Like there's certain things that the way I cut my meat, people will be like, you're cutting that kind of strange. And it's like, I was raised by wolves.
I love that you're so good about it. Like you, and I mean, you've had some years on you now to be able to do that. So I appreciate that. But
thank you.
And you've adjusted. Like I enjoy your energy. I enjoy who you are. I enjoy every aspect of you.
Thank you.
And it's a story I didn't know till just before we hopped on the show. So I wanted to share that with other people because I think in our world, people assume, we had this gift since we were born and it was all, weather bliss. Most of us have had trauma.
No, most readers, in fact, every reader that I know has had some sort of heavy trauma in their lives. And some readers have had like trauma after trauma after trauma. So it's a lot of work to get to a point where you can open yourself up to people and read for them and be okay with that and be balanced. You got to practice good boundaries doing this for sure, not just with people, but with energies. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you're coming from a really scattered place, that's going to be very, very difficult for you to do.
And I completely agree. I agree. Yeah, 100%. So
a lot of us, we do the work.
Yes. And I was just going to go there too. It's about doing the work. It's about coming back to self. It's about who am I as this soul, not just
not just the body.
Yes, exactly. I love that. And I know that you've done a ton of work. And when we're talking about work, you guys, I'm not talking about going to the spa and having a spa day and doing that kind of work. I'm talking about deep internal work, the
shadow work.
Exactly.
Sitting with the ugliest parts of yourself or the parts that you consider ugly. It's not easy to take a good hard look at yourself and be like, damn, I'm acting a fool. Like, this is not good about me. You gotta get comfortable.
Check myself, like what about me don't I like, so that I could come back to what I do like. I think that to me, the most grounded, the most balanced, as you said, psychic mediums, psychics, interchangeable, clairvoyant, tarot, all that kind of stuff, readers, healers, the most balanced and the strongest ones have done the work. I think that's the most clarity, because actually you said something there earlier before we hopped on the show, is about you can't
pour from an empty cup.
That's it.
This is something I tell my clients all the time. I'm so blessed to get to read for some really amazing and powerful people that are very empathetic. But a lot of people can't say no, or, like they don't know where those boundaries can lie. And for me, anything that makes you uncomfortable, you need to be putting out a boundary.
Exactly.
Anything uncomfortable, anything that's draining you, because I love to help people too. But if I'm completely drained, then what kind of help are they really going to get from me?
Yes.
It's an empty cup. You're getting nothing. So having those boundaries in place and being healthy about it. I mean, you can assert boundaries very politely, very kindly. I think if anybody gets angry at you, then they're kind of the ones that are capitalizing on the fact that you didn't have any in the first place.
Exactly.
So
running rickshaw, right?
People that love and respect you aren't going to get mad if you're saying, no, I really can't handle this right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what, I got to be honest. I think that, I'm also a coach, and I think that everybody that comes to me with a lot of anxiety and a lot of, anxiety is rampant right now.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And I mean, COVID aside, it has been for a couple of years now. And it's, to me, I will kind of search out to see if it's a psychic thing. At the end of the day, it usually is. But at the end of the day, it's more towards you're not doing the work. You're stopping, like you're going, I feel the fear, and then I don't do it.
Yep.
Whereas
I was guilty of that for decades.
I'm here to push. Like I'm pushing, like anybody that mentors with me, I push them. It's like, I want your, and I'm going to swear here. I want your ass cheeks to pucker and I want you to be afraid, but I don't want you to be so afraid that it's out of like out of church and state for you so that it doesn't work. I don't want that. I just want, your goals to, just scare you a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't want,
nothing amazing is achieved on this side of fear, right?
Exactly.
Anything amazing that you've conquered in your life, anything, you've done it on the other side of fear. You've crossed through it.
Exactly.
So don't tell me you can't do it.
I think about some of those moms out there that if their child's under a car and
just lifts the
car, like, girl, get your big girl pants on, because if that woman can do that, we can do anything. And that goes for
absolutely right.
That goes for everybody. Do you know? So I'm gonna say this. When I first met you, Quinn, you and I were at a psychic fair.
Yep.
And you were, I don't know, 4 or 5 tables away from me or whatever. And I thought, I think it was the first experience I'd had of you. And I quite enjoyed you. You're like very, very light, very.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Your energy, though, for me was, it was, I have to know her.
I love it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I was just in awe of you. It's like, oh my God, Tanya Lee. Okay, so she's over at that table. Quit looking. Quit looking. She's gonna know you're looking. Oh, totally.
What?
Oh, I was so pumped that you were there.
I'm making it up.
I actually had, when you allowed me to do a quick little reading for you, I was like, okay, your hands are shaking. Just keep shuffling the cards. Keep shuffling the cards.
Oh my gosh.
It was an absolute privilege to be able to read for you. Are you kidding? I loved it. Especially out of like everybody there, you're like you. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. There's only, and I don't, I go to the fair, I go there to read people. I don't go there to get readings myself, but I feel drawn to certain people. So I've had, maybe like, I've been to like, I'm not gonna say hundreds of fairs, but I've worked at, let's say a good set, like, quite a few dozen, let's say that. And I've read for thousands of people. I can attest to that. But I don't get readings myself. And I can probably count on one hand how many readings I've had at a psychic fair, and you were one of them, for sure.
Oh, I'm so honored. That's awesome. Like, I feel very lucky that you allowed me to do that for you. It's definitely a blessing.
Yeah, you make me all blush.
We'll just keep pumping each other up.
I was thinking the same thing. This is great. Anyways, and your reading that you had read somebody for me that nobody has ever picked up on, ever. And still to this day, and that was probably a decade ago, but still to this day, nobody else has picked up on that person who's crossed over. And what, not only the person who crossed over, but also the reading that you had given me was, you guys, honestly, this girl sees your soul. So, but it's not a negative reading. It's always positive. You're like, okay, you're hiding. And it was like, lots of people, when I do go to a reading, sometimes they just give you the generic stuff, but you went deep. You absolutely went deep.
See, I can't remember the readings. I'm like, damn it, I should have recorded it or something. Oh, well. I find that I call myself a window. Like when I read for somebody, you open, and I'm very specific to what I open to. Right? I set certain boundaries in place before a client even sits down with me, because I don't want to open up to necessarily everything. So I just open like I'm the window. But once the reading passes through me and it closes again, I don't remember them a lot of the time. I really suggest that when I'm like reading for somebody, that they record or take notes, because chances are I'm not going to remember what I passed you. So I don't remember the reading, unfortunately, but I'm really glad that it resonated.
Well, and I don't expect you to remember the reading, because I don't remember, like we channel. So we do.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, the window, that's a beautiful analogy.
It's not ours.
No, it's
not ours to keep.
No.
So once we deliver it, it's pretty much gone. It's at least in my experience.
Mine too. And every other psychic I know. And as I teach that as well, right? Like I teach.
Oh, amazing.
don't hang on to that, because you're in
That's going to be a lot in your head.
yeah, and your aura, like, don't be weighed down by everybody else's energy. Like, if you're weighed down, there's the odd person that catches your attention, like, that sticks out to you. A couple ways. I have a gal, Jane. I never met her. Her people came to me. She still resonates and comes back to me once in a while. That's a little bit different. Those are, I'll talk about those on another show. Maybe you and I'll come back on and talk about that.
Oh, that would be amazing.
but that's a little bit different. This is, when we do readings for people, not the mediumship, but when we do tarot readings, or we do cards, or I do a lot of intuitive readings where I'll just write stuff out and get feedback from them. That's me, like, that's us pulling into their aura, their energy, and of them. So we can't keep that, because then, I mean, when I would do psychic fairs, and I'm sure you're the same, you do like 50 readings a day.
It's a little bit crazy in the fairs and the markets. Absolutely.
I agree.
It's just go, 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 go. Yeah. If you tried to hang on to all of that, I kind of think you'd end up in a room with some rubber walls. Like,
you would.
Totally. And I totally feel that, like, when I'm getting a good reading, anytime a client says to me, like, whoa, you're bang on, I'll say, well, thank you, but thank you.
Yeah.
I really feel that a good reading is based on your client and how their energy is sitting with you, how open they are to your energy. If you're coming into a reading and you're sitting like this right off the bat, I'm going to feel some resistance when I'm trying to read you. So I always tell people, please uncross your arms for me. Let's just get you a bit more relaxed about this. Some people are so open to the information that it just starts coming boom, boom, boom. Like, the timer will go off, the reading is over, but you're like, oh my God, it's still coming. Okay. Like, gotta close the window now, guys. Sorry.
I always, like, I shouldn't say that. I used to always go over, because I'm giving so much information to them. I'm like, oh my gosh, it keeps coming. And you're right. I needed to close the window, but
I've learned that I need to do that now. I've worked in places where I've been a reader and had bosses, and I was getting in some trouble there constantly for going over.
Of course. Yeah.
So
times tap, right.
I'm happy to go over, like, I'm happy to give whatever I can.
Mm-hmm.
But in a situation where, say, there's another person with another appointment waiting, I got to make sure I get that shut down at the time that it's supposed to end.
That's right. And that's fair. That's completely fair. I love it. I want to talk about how you became psychic. So, first set of tarot cards at 14, but you had experience.
I did. The first deck actually came when I was 13.
13. Okay.
It was my 13th. Yeah, right before I turned 14. It was probably a couple months before. The near-death experience happened, I would have been about 5 years old. And we had an above-ground pool in our backyard. And, well, there was a drowning incident. So I actually did stop breathing. My heart stopped. In the pool, I can remember in the pool, like, and it's vivid. I can remember being scared. I remember the water going up my nose, like it burned, and I was terrified, and I was really kicking my feet, trying to right myself and get myself out of the pool. And then suddenly I was very warm, very calm. And I'm standing at the bottom of the pool, and I could see myself floating, and I could see the little inner tube that I had floating as well. And there's all this, it's like a classic story that you'd see on TV. It was all this white light coming in. And now, I've never met my maternal grandfather, but I have photos of him when he was younger, and he had the craziest blonde curls that you'd ever see. He's 100% Danish. Used to work for the Danish Guard, and all I saw coming out of this light was this man with a very kind face, crazy blonde afro, like crazy blonde curls. And I can actually, like, I remember feeling very comforted, and I actually held up my arms to what I feel was my grandfather. And the next thing I know, boom, on the ground, throwing up. It's chaos. There's like police and this and that. Water's coming out of every orifice possible. And I'm just exhausted and terrified. Once everything had calmed down again, I realized, like, I guess I was saying things to my mom. Like, my mom caught me at my window one night. She's, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm talking to the green man. And she's like, you're talking to who? I'm like, the green man. He comes to the window. We talk. He's my friend.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, okay, little girl, let's put you, like, lay back down. There's nobody at your window. Like, you're fine. And I would pick up on energies in the house. Now, we did live in a very, I'm going to call it active house. I still have dreams about that house.
Okay,
Very, very active.
Hold on. Active. Okay, so that for those people that are listening don't know active means, can you
Haunted.
haunted? Okay, haunted. And see, here's the issue I have with haunted. I'm gonna call this out. I don't. It's it has spirits in it.
These I feel were specifically entities. So
Okay.
I don't feel that they were the spirits of anybody that had passed.
Okay.
I encountered several different sort of entities within that house. And like my mom had actually gotten some in pictures and sent them to the university to have them analyzed. And they were like, we have no explanation, must be ghosts, ha ha ha. Like they were laughing about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there were definitely energies to that house. And it's funny because sometimes I'll go back and kind of go visit the house. And the people living in it now have 7 lightning rods on the roof.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Yeah. So I'm thinking they're probably experiencing some energy there as well. And it wasn't just the house itself. I feel it was the property.
I was just gonna say.
Yep. There's definitely something that has to do with the property and the ley lines of the house. I encountered something in the backyard of the house when I was 10 years old that was not human in shape or form. So I was terrified of it for a lot of years. But what I really feel was that it was some sort of ancestral energy to the land. It was very protective of the land. And so it looked scary to me. And as a child, coming from the background I did, I'm a baptized Seventh-day Adventist.
I know, I want to talk about that too. Oh my goodness.
So it's all about the demons. Yeah. So
yeah.
I remember telling my mother, this is what I saw. And she's like, it's, you're letting in the devil. Don't let in the devil. And so it was very confusing. Like I knew that I could see and hear things that other people weren't picking up on. But a lot of it got demonized, unfortunately. And I find that a lot of my clients tend to have issues with that as well, where something has scared them and they've been told, oh, it's bad, it's this, where in a lot of cases, that's not true.
So I want to talk about that because you do come from a religious background. You do, and people do, and it frustrates me to no end. And now hear me out. I am not bashing any religion at all. Everybody has a religion, and I believe in faith. I believe you need to have faith to have hope and all that kind of stuff. So believe in something. You just believe.
Oh, absolutely.
It's right for you. So the aspect about that is you went from spirit, like very religious, to is it a big leap to say,
oh, kinda.
So here's the thing, you guys, so for those of you that are on the podcast, what she actually showed me is Quin is littered with tattoos. Like she has beautiful tattoos all over, and she was actually showing. So can you just tell us what you're showing me there?
What I've got on my throat right now, this is actually a memorial tattoo for someone I lost, but it was very important that this go on my throat. And like my mother had a huge issue with it. Lots of my friends had issues with it as well. Your throat chakra, the pentacle is actually a symbol of protection. And it's also something that can open the door. I channel anyway, and I speak. A lot of times I speak words that aren't mine. I wanted to keep this in the throat chakra area to keep it nice and open and keep it protected as well, so that I'm always speaking the truth.
Nice.
So if I'm doing a reading for somebody and I'm not getting something, this won't allow me to be like, oh, okay, I'm getting something.
Right.
This keeps me kind of on the ethical side of things, keeps my throat open and keeps the truth coming through. So it was very important for me to place it there. A lot of, like I said, like a lot of people were like, oh my God, don't do it. Now though, it's pretty accepted by the people that I have around me. Like I have what I call my soul family or my clan. And this isn't something that's going to scare or upset them. So
let's talk about that, because when I first met you, I was intimidated by, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, she has so many tattoos. Now hear me out. I don't come from a tattoo family. My parents.
Oh, I don't either.
Right. So 1 or 2 when they're little. Religious, you come from religion. Did you swing the pendulum, or sorry, no, bad choice of
That's
words.
funny that you chose that choice of words though, because the pendulum's the very first thing I ever used at age 12.
Go figure.
So
oh wow. Did you swing that pendulum so far over because you're religious, or?
No, like right from childhood, I was, again, I'm a 7 life path, but I'm born on the 5th. And as you being a 5 life path, you know that 5 is the rebel number. Okay. Totally. It's a number of freedom. You can't really box a 5 in at all. They're going to suffer if you try.
Yeah.
Right from childhood, I was a rebel. Both of my parents, especially my father, wanted me to wear pink and pretty things, and I wanted to wear jeans and roll around in the mud and climb trees. By the age 12, I kind of fell in love with the punk rock scene,
Of
and
course.
I had a love of punk rock music. From there, like I started wearing my hair in spikes and bleaching it and mohawking it, like doing crazy things to my hair, and it drove my mom nuts because she was just like, "Oh, not again! What did you do to your hair?" Like,
Yeah, exactly.
she didn't want me messing with it, so I'd go to a friend's house and be like, "All right, today we're gonna dye it black."
Gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
I didn't want to wear the pretty things. I wanted to wear ripped up clothes with safety pins stuck and all. Like, it was a little bit crazy growing up. I really found that where I found my place was in live music and going to shows. And yeah, like from there, like within that music scene, lots of people have tattoos. Lots of band members have tattoos.
I do.
Because I come from trauma and have suffered abuse, the first few tattoos, and it continued, was a way of reclaiming my own body.
For sure.
So it wasn't necessarily a screw you society. It was more like I couldn't handle what I call my meat suit.
Yep. Yeah, I call it
And
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Meat suit.
Part of having to be comfortable back in the meat suit was making it my own again.
Fair.
And I did that through tattoo work. Like every tattoo tells a story. If somebody sat me down and said, "What does all this mean?" It would literally take hours and hours to try and tell everybody the stories of each piece that I've chosen. So I wasn't meaning to be a rebel, I don't think. It was just what made me most comfortable. But then, yeah, like I started getting tattooed in the 80s still.
Wow.
So not only was it not great back then, guys, like it was not great back then. It's come a long way.
Very. And you know what?
There,
almost everybody has a tattoo now.
oh, absolutely. Like I love the fact that I can now see, like, and especially really visible tattoos, because I've worked in 2 different tattoo shops at one point, and very leery about placing tattoos on hands.
Yes.
Or the throat area, neck area, chin.
Yeah. Well, it's very judged, right? Like,
oh yeah.
When again, coming from no tattoos and meeting you, and it's not, I could have had tattoos if I wanted to, but I didn't, for me, there was nothing on. So my mom put it this way: is there anything on you that you would want to see when you're 80? So, and of course I was sheltered when I was a kid too. So, naive little small town girl, but meeting you, I mean, and I'd had, I mean, growing up and I'd had, worked with bikers and stuff like that, but meeting you and the first female that I experienced that had lots of tattoos, it was intimidating for me. But then you have to, like, for me, I feel like I have to get past that as just somebody that doesn't have tattoos, get past that and don't worry about the tattoos if it intimidates you, and come back to, is she a damn good reader? Because yes, you are a damn good reader. And
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I walk away going, oh, that was such a good reading. I have a new appreciation for you. You're not your tattoos. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm not. They definitely tell the story of my life. Like they definitely tell about my experiences. But as you know, experience isn't who you are either.
No. Yeah.
This was just my way of feeling more at home in my own body after going through trauma. I felt it was a way to reclaim it and to feel powerful. And then some of the career choices I made, the tattoos actually helped out a lot.
There we go.
I ended up going into working security for bands and in live venues with bands. So I think once you get to know me, I'm not intimidating in the slightest. Like I'm a big marshmallow.
She is. I can attest to this.
A lot of people that are leery about heavily tattooed people, I found, didn't argue with me if I had to tell them they had to leave the venue.
Right, that would definitely come in handy in that. I could see how that would work for you, for sure.
Definitely.
You guys, Quin is super knowledgeable in a lot of areas. And so I want to talk about your favorite modality though is tarot, right?
Absolutely.
It's her go-to. She even has Black Pentacle cards.
This deck is out of print, unfortunately.
That's the thing. Like those are the best ones. Mine, some of mine are out of print too. So I'm a bit of a Oracle and tarot, not snob. I'm not a snob, but I'm a collector. I'm a
collector.
call me a hoarder. Let's call it what it is. Let's be honest.
You are a collector, just like
Yeah.
I'm a collector of artwork.
Yes. Okay, let's go with that. I don't think that's what my partner would say, but let's go with that.
I'm gonna go with collector.
Right? So in Australia, I think I have probably about 30 decks.
Oh, wow.
And then here in Canada, I probably have another 50. So yeah, I have a few. But yeah, so I love the cards you have. And you know what? That just makes it more nostalgic for me if nobody, not that nobody can get it, but then this has a lot of meaning. So I was gifted a set of tarot cards from a lady that had passed away, Jane. I talked about Jane earlier.
Yeah.
And they're very similar to yours.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, I was gifted them, and they're old school, and they're out of print too. I have the
first the first time I got this deck was 1998. It was given to me as a gift.
Whoa.
I had to swap that one out after it was damaged by a flood in 2011. That's when I acquired these. So I've been using this particular deck since 2011. They're pretty beat up, as you can kind of see. This is actually, and at first I love the look of beat up cards because they're well used and they're well loved, right? But this actually is starting to get hard to shuffle. So I was able to acquire another deck online from a personal sale from a lady that was selling them. You can get this deck. The thing is, you're going to pay hundreds of dollars for it.
Say yes.
So people, like, I have seen it anywhere from, I'm actually mentoring somebody right now, and she's using a deck similar to this, but she really loves this deck. She was first a client, and now she's actually a really awesome reader now. But she really wants the same deck as me because that's how she learned from me, was by learning off of this deck. So we were able to acquire a deck recently for $250.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and I've seen it up where somebody was advertising for a new deck on eBay, or I think it was Amazon. It was one of those places for $1,600.
Now, so guys, just so that you guys know, a normal set of tarot deck, like a tarot deck, because there's more than just an oracle deck. There's more cards in it. And so they can run about $20, 25, 30, 35, $50 a little high for a deck sometimes. But depending on the deck, depending on the author and stuff like that, artwork that's involved. But on average, $40 to $50.
You're not going to pay hundreds of dollars.
No. So I want to put that in context for people. $250 is a lot.
It's a lot. It's really a lot. She was dedicated though. Like, she's come so far in the last year with reading. She just really wanted the same deck because it's pagan based, it's Wiccan based, it's very feminine. So, and I find it gentle. Like I learned off of an old deck called the Epinal Tarot, which was a French deck.
Oh yes.
So, okay.
Yep.
Kind of harsh, I found.
They're mean.
Same with, yeah, thank you. Like, I just found, like, it was like you'd pull these cards and I'd be like, ouch, tarot.
Exactly.
Why you gotta be so hurtful?
Somebody actually sent me that deck. They're like, do you know this deck? And I said, yeah, I know of this deck. And they're like, I can't have it in my house. Are you okay if I gift it to you? I said, by all means, yes, I would love them because I would love to study them and know them more. And so, I mean, tarot. So
that's the first deck I learned off of. Like, literally would take that deck to my junior high and be like, do you guys want a tarot reading?
And that's back in the 80s, right? 80s, 90s. So
yep.
Not really.
It wasn't widely accepted. No, most people thought that I was a Satanist. And because I had that kind of rebel streak, I would just let them believe that because they would leave me alone. They'd be afraid and they'd leave me alone. So I let them believe that. By high school, people were like, hey, lunchtime in the library, can you read for me?
So you found your grounding. I love that. That's amazing. So you read out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Yep.
Okay. And lovely. But that's not out. You also have the ability to read outside, like in the US and different countries as well. I mean, Zoom. It's been saving grace for all of us. No pun intended.
Zoom is new for me. So this is kind of like, whoa. Yeah, exactly. I was doing everything by phone.
Okay.
Because what I was kind of enjoying by phone, and like anywhere in the world, you can get a reading with me by phone or now by Zoom. What I liked about by phone is that it was kind of anonymous. I couldn't see the person, so I couldn't tell if what I was saying was resonating.
I like
So
that too. I'm
I
not
felt
gonna
it like this is more of a challenge,
yeah.
like I'm not picking up on any cues and they're not reacting to
Uh,
it. So I just have to do it just like
yeah.
without really knowing anything. So I enjoyed that. But this is actually incredible. Like getting hooked up with Zoom. Pretty stoked about this.
Right? So
Changes the game.
it does. Because I do international readings as well, and especially in Australia
Amazing.
and stuff. I'll ask them if they're okay if I turn off the video, because I don't look at them. My head will be down, or a lot of time, not that I need to, but it's just intuitively, my eyes go up to the sky. And it's, I'm not, you kind of think, oh, am I, pulling from spirit there? No, that's just, I'm listening. So just my learning style, how I am.
I
So,
actually have a specific kind of lamp that's all glitter. It's like a glittery lava lamp.
ooh, I
It's
love
on my reading table.
uh-huh.
And that's what I'll focus on, the swirling glitter. When I'm
Exactly.
shuffling and when I'm trying to read, like I will focus elsewhere. So it's almost like you're diverting your attention so that you can hear or receive what's coming in.
Exactly. And I don't want to look at that person. So I'm like, hey, if you're okay, if we just turn off the
Turn
video.
off the camera. There we go.
Or if you want to just watch me look out into the abyss, that works too. I get it. It's all good. It's all good. Okay.
Like someone would just see this if I'm shuffling.
Top of the head. With a very nail scalp there, Quinn.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I totally agree with you though. That's exactly what they would see. So I feel it. Okay, so are you open to doing a couple of readings? These guys are
Yeah,
going
for
to be
sure.
very lucky to get a reading from you. All right,
Absolutely.
so let's start with Sherry.
Okay. I have a technique, and no, I'm not doing this in person. I'm actually not doing in-person appointments right now. I am with like taking care of myself and making sure that I'm following the rules, the government rules and guidelines right now. But this is a technique that I've used since I was a child, well, 13. Sherry, that's what you said?
Yes.
So I blow the name into the deck. I blow the info into the deck.
I like it.
And let's take a peek. I'll also blow into the deck to clear it. And when I'm done shuffling, I always knock on the deck 3 times as a sign of respect.
Yes.
Okay, what I got coming up for Sherry, and this is new for me because usually I'll connect to someone's birthday.
Right. So I'm asking to go out on a limb here, guys.
Well, this is interesting. I don't know if Sherry is expecting, but she has pulled 2 cards that both portray pregnant women. One is speaking of inheritance or inherited traits throughout the family. The second one often speaks of growth, abundance, and prosperity. There's also, we picked up the Queen of Cups as well, which to me, this is a very loving, kind woman, someone who nurtures and someone who is very, very giving. This deck screams motherhood to me, but it could be that Sherry's just an extremely nurturing person and that she is on the verge of perhaps growth and potential as far as abundance and money going, finances. The flip side to this, if it's not an actual child, what we're looking at is potentially inherited traits among the family. So maybe Sherry needs to connect to her mom right now, or maybe take a look at some of the inherited traits that she's gotten from her mother's side of the family. We also pull a card, the 7 of Cups, and a lot of people who read Rider-Waite, we will look at this card and be like, oh, it's not a great card. In my deck, it's the booty card. This is the card of energy that is chemistry, sexual energy, passion, all those lovely things. So it looks like she's going to get a big boost forward in what she is most passionate about. And go ahead.
No, sorry, that's good.
Oh, I thought you were okay.
I didn't mean to cut, yeah.
And with this boost forward, we're going to see growth, especially in matters of property and money. So Sherry, you got some good things coming up.
I love that. So let me, I will validate a couple of things. So Sherry actually just told me this week that her daughter is expecting.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
that's perfect. It is to do with motherly things. She loves being a grandma. That's her thing. She
that's
is
amazing.
Also birthing a new business. All comes hand in
hand. That's going to go very, very well for her then, especially those 2 pregnancy cards right next to each other, back to back. That's massive amounts of growth and potential. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm excited. All right, the next one is Joanne.
Joanne?
Yeah.
Okay. Does she go by just Joe?
Mm, I understand why you say that, but she does not.
She does not. Okay. Let's take a peek. I don't know, she may have moved recently, but we're looking at, there's something about a change in home and how there's more stability on the way with this change. It's now a stable sort of foundation for her to build. We also see, like, this is one of my favorite cards in this deck. This means go, keep going, victory is at hand. Now, a couple of things that do come up though. We've got the Five of Wands along with Miss Princess of Swords. Five of Wands is speaking of outside energy that may be invading her space that she needs to clear out from her. Miss Princess of Swords in my deck, unfortunately, is not someone who's standing in their highest good. This is someone who speaks without a filter, who can be pushy and can be manipulative. So I'd say guard your home. Do a nice clearing on the home. Guard yourself from gossip or people that are trying to cross your boundaries right now, because it's not going to go well. You should continue on the path that you've already been moving forward on. And anybody that's trying to say, like any naysayers, clear that away from you. You don't need that energy. Focus on what's most important.
That makes sense. I like that. And that all resonates.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
Yep, it sure does. So the next name you're going to laugh is Joe.
Oh, okay.
The guy, Joe.
Joe. Let's take a peek for Joe. Now it's strange. I'm having a hard time shuffling for Joe. Okay. Let's see what we get. Joe has, we got the Wheel of Fortune coming up. I don't know if Joe has health issues, but we're seeing a Five of Pentacles flipped upside down. This card can signify loss or loss of health. So either financial trouble or loss of health. But we see this lovely Wheel of Fortune now. The Wheel of Fortune changes the cycle that you've been in, and it changes it in a positive direction. Currently, we see the universe. The universe is sort of like the World card, but it speaks of certain endings that may be taking place. But with these endings, you're moving forward into a very balanced energy. The Three of Wands is all about goddess energy. I think Joe might need to maybe sit in his feminine energy a little bit, or be open to that side of himself in order to heal something that he may be struggling with. That Wheel of Fortune, though, is flipping things in his favor. And even though the universe talks about endings, there is a fresh start, a door opening in another direction for you right now.
Ooh, I love that. He's going to love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just keeping balance, especially, you know what, I really feel like Joe might need to watch the diet a little bit, or watch what he's putting into the body. To me, this feels like just drained, exhausted energy. It will be flipping soon though. So good. You will be moving forward quickly.
Hot damn, girl. That is so accurate. Love that.
Oh, yay.
Good. And my last one I have is Miss Lori.
Lori. Can you tell me how Lori is spelled, please?
I say it's L-O-R-I.
Okay. There's a card that's a jumper. Okay. And I didn't let it fall out of the deck, but if I had, it was actually the Six of Cups, which is the card in my deck. It's the card of love and blessings entering your life. So that was trying to jump out. So we'll just throw that tidbit out there. And okay, these are all love cards. Oh my God. So Lori, looks like you've met somebody or you're with somebody that's absolutely wonderful. We have a Two of Cups coming up, which is all about a relationship that is built on solid ground. If you can see in the card at all, they're on a mountain together. Yeah. Well, mountains don't crumble easily. We also have the amazing Ace of Cups coming up, which is the card of unconditional love, and it's also the card of new love. Queen of Cups takes place. So Lori's a pretty nurturing, open, and kind person. This may have gotten her taken advantage of in previous relationships, but I think that there's somebody new entering, or somebody has entered that she's pretty pretty on par with energy-wise. The last card is interesting because we see a little Prince of Pentacles. Now, if we're talking about a child, this is a child who's very studious, loves numbers, and loves to have his head in the books. But if we're looking at an adult, then this is potentially somebody who maybe isn't being great with their money at this time.
Got it.
Now, it doesn't mean they're going crazy, but as loving as, you know, Lori looks, maybe she needs to tighten some purse strings a little bit. Just saying, guys, just saying.
Got it.
But
Yeah.
with all these cups coming out, this is absolutely a really beautiful reading in regards to love and the energies that are around her right now. With them trying to throw out that Six of Cups, which in my deck is all about love and blessings, she can expect some news about a new blessing entering her life soon.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. I think she actually just recently told me a couple weeks ago that her daughter is expecting as well.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yes, definitely blessings for sure.
Definitely a blessing.
And her other daughter just had one. So
oh, wow. So there you go.
That's a baby around. Oh, that's fantastic. Quinn, that's it. We're good. Thank you so much for
oh, you're welcome.
For doing this. I just love it. Okay, wait. No, I'm gonna do it. Can you get me a card too, please?
Absolutely. There we go. Do you want one or can I pull four?
You do you. You feel whatever is right for you. I don't normally ask this, but I feel drawn to ask, so I'm gonna ask.
Oopsie. I had a dropper.
Perfect.
So let's see. Oh, they're flying now, Tanya. They are flying.
Obviously,
okay.
I'm not listening to something.
This is amazing. Okay, so your first card is all about the Princess of Cups. Now, when I see the Princess of Cups, this is somebody that may be a little bit anxious or a little bit sensitive right now. Okay. So this has got to be possibly a family member or somebody that you're close to is worried about anxiety or having a hard time with it. However, we're seeing that flip with the universe. Some doors are closing, and with that door closing, a cycle's now ending for you, okay?
Yes.
One door closes because another one's opening up, and the Empress, she's all about, cycles usually last about 5 to 7 years, I say. That's like a full cycle for somebody, and everything's always moving in cycles. Empress is speaking of abundance, growth, and prosperity. She sits on the top of her mountain surveying all that she's created because she's created everything. She gives birth to the world, basically. This is leading to the end of one cycle, giving birth to something new. Wish fulfillment, stars, the spotlight being on you. This is also the card of good karma. All the lovely things that you've put out into the universe are now ready to come back and return to you. So it's payday, my friend. You're getting all that loving energy returning to you.
Love that. Ooh, I love that. That's a great one. Guys, we didn't make this up. She just drew cards.
Cards never lie.
Cards never lie. I always say that too. They really don't. Oh my gosh, Quinn, you're just so lovely. I want to continue, but I guess, we've already gone way longer than we normally do. And
wow. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's just, you gotta come back. We gotta have
I would love to, honestly.
You're going to be so much fun, and you're so light, and your energy is so lovely. I just love having you on. So how can people reach you? What can they do? They got to get a reading from you. What does that look like?
I have Quintessential Tarot on Facebook, or you can also follow Quintessential Tarot on Instagram, or you can hit me up by email at quintessentialtarot@gmail.com.
Perfect. You guys, I'll have all her details below. Quinn, me and you got to do something. Are you open to doing maybe a collab? Because we got to make this happen.
I would love to. Absolutely.
So stay tuned for that, you guys. Thank you so much for being on, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for having me on.